Yep.
Nice. You have a hard time of finding, you know, people that just want to hang out with you, period, though, right?
Oh, I do.
UnderArmour Speed Freak boots. This is a Nutnfancy review. I'm going to start off by saying that these are overpriced for what you're getting. Basically an athletic shoe for $170. Granted, it's got a Gore-Tex liner in there, but $170, if you're lucky, you'll get them for around $150. Yeah, they're overpriced. Specifically when we talk about performance in certain types of terrain, I'll tell you why I think that is, how perhaps a boot could be improved. Be kind of an unstructured review. I'm going to go over the high points and then the low points. These have about, I don't know, 10 outings here on my feet in the Nutnfancy project, so I think I can speak with a little bit of authority on what's good and what's bad about them. I basically acquired them to get a high speed, no pun intended, combat style multicam coloration boot. There's others out there. I looked at these, I was like, I'll give them a try. See how they work. Because we do a lot of running in the Nutnfancy project. Lots. In fact, basically every weapon is tested out of a run. Heart rate up, stress somewhat elevated. Yeah, lots of running. So anything I can do to lighten the load, rotational mass in this instance, kind of like putting on a lightweight set of rims on your car, it will help. Fatigue, maybe add a little bit of speed, all that stuff. Okay, now going into this affair, I'm talking the UnderArmour Speed Freaks. I knew that they weren't going to be a very heavy duty boot. I knew they were kind of leaning towards more, well, the speed, you know, running. I knew that. I'll get to that here in a second. And what I was going to say, let me tell you the good side first. They are very lightweight. Okay, they do deliver in that, I don't know, here's the word again, speed promise. Let's say mobility. Firepower versus mobility. This is a mobility leaning boot. Okay, it does do that. They're very lightweight. I like that. Their fit is outstanding. They get on the feet and they're properly sized. I wear a size 11. These, what do you know, are size 11. Right out of the box, they fit and they were comfortable. No hot spots, no blisters. And I kind of expect that for this style of boot, lightweight, athletic boot. So that's good. The laces and the nylon they use, excellent. The eyelets are excellent. It really locks in the instep. If you watch my boot review, man, it's been a long time since I've done one. I think back in 2008, hiking boots, I talk about the importance of having that instep, locking your heel down, primarily in a hiking boot, but it does help in this style of, let me just call it a tactical boot. It really helps because it just, I don't know, makes your feet, the boot fit your feet like they're one. The fit is outstanding. I think the construction, from what I've seen so far, is excellent. I haven't seen any stitches popped. That's pig skin surrounding the Cordura nylon. And then they have what's called a TPU toe protector right here. That's worked. Might be some prizes in store, you know, as we really put some wear and tear on it, that these stitches pop. Anytime you see a lot of overlays like this on top of your boot, you're kind of hanging it out there because all you have to do is have some stitching pop and then it just becomes a chain reaction and your boot's pretty much done for, especially when you have a Gore-Tex liner because you can't stitch it. You're going to ruin the Gore-Tex liner, which, by the way, I don't think for me is really necessary. Not in this style of boot. And generally, I kind of shy away from Gore-Tex lined boots. My feet sweat a lot. Yeah, personal revelation there. And it just traps that moisture. And I know they're supposed to breathe. They kind of breathe. Not super great. And it adds a lot of cost to the boot. And it doesn't really help me with the moisture problem since most of it's coming from interior. Speaking of which, let's take a look inside. This is a good thing. It's not Cambrel. Cambrel's still my favorite boot interior. It's just really comfortable. It allows the foot to breathe a little bit better and maybe some of that moisture to escape. They call this the ETC anti-friction lining. They have some proprietary names, trademarks that UnderArmour's using. Okay, so that's fine. The collar's fine. I had no problems with that. Fully gusseted tongue, that's a huge upside. I did look at some other alternatives, and their tongue was gusseted all the way back here. The reason that's important is because of this. Look at all the weed seeds, and I've pulled most of them out from the last outing. They'll get in here into the tongue. They'll work their way up here, get into your socks, and then you just got a big mess on your hand. They say they have some really special footbeds in them. They call it the Ortho light footbeds. Yeah, I just basically pulled those out and threw them in the garbage. They were so bad. Horrible. Instead, I'm running green super feet in them. And if you guys don't know what these are, I think I mentioned it in my backpacking series of videos. I always put these in my, not always. If I have a really squared away footbed, I won't, but these really need them because they don't have as much support as I really want. These help. As you can see, there's a polyurethane bottom to these, closed cell foam, and somewhat of a breathable top on them. They're not inexpensive super feet. Running about 30 bucks, maybe 25 if you find them on sale somewhere. We're still talking about good things about the Speed Freaks. The colorations. Comes a multicam black, some other camouflage patterns. I'll throw in a picture right here. That's a good thing that you can pick your color. It is also marketed to hunters, not just tactical dudes. Okay, so that's all good. Okay, what else did I forget? The good stuff. I think that's it. Now we get to what I don't like and why I judge these boots to be a very poor value. I'm going to take out the insoles to show you guys these. See that? Remember what I was talking about in my backpacking boot review? You don't want to be able to do that with your boot. But wait, Nutnfancy, that's a high-speed tactical boot. Yeah, true, but you want more support than that, especially when it's marketed to the tactical community, and that guys may sign off on this boot thinking it's a hiking boot. And just to test it, I did go hiking with this boot. On our outing of, Winter Solstice with Bucket Mustard, Armed Serenity, went hiking with it. I knew immediately these boots are not meant for hiking, and here's the main reason. You guys remember from my boot review what that's called? Is it rockin'? EVA. That's expanded foam as your midsole. That is a horrible midsole material for a hiking boot. You want a polyurethane midsole. You want a fiberglass shank, maybe even a steel shank. Now, maybe not steel because these are still a tactical boot. They are marketing them as a kind of a high-speed running tactical boot. I understand that. What I would have liked to see is a polyurethane midsole and then maybe a half fiberglass shank. It wouldn't have added a lot of weight and it would have added a heck of a lot more support. I'm talking about support at the most important part, the bottoms of your feet. If you take these Speed Freaks out and do some heavy duty hiking, if you have a tactical load of any kind, I'm talking an LBE vest, you have ammunition loadout, even just 20 pounds worth, these boots, in my opinion, are not suitable. They suck. They may be better than some other alternatives out there, but they suck. Even with super feet put in them, you're going to feel every rock under here. They just come right through. They're basically tennis shoes. They're glorified tennis shoes for let's just say 160 bucks. Yeah, so not too cool. So I think it's poor value. Ultimately, I think it's bad foot protection when the going gets tough. And as you guys have seen out in the Nutnfancy project, the going gets tough sometimes. We're in the rugged terrain, the rocks. They're almost like, I don't know, Afghanistan out there as we're hiking over those rocks. These aren't the boots I want to carry or wear, especially if I'm carrying like a backpack load of, 40 pounds on up. 50 pounds? No way. These things are not coming along for the ride. Right now, I still see a void in the tactical footwear market for that. I see a lot of boots like this. They're high priced. They're very hyped. That they're saying, oh, these are the most awesome boots in the world. You got to buy them. They have an outlandish price tag on it. I think the price tag on these is outlandish. I think they should be about $115 for what you're getting. And then some guys, and that's why I'm making this video, may sign off thinking that the boots are going to serve them well. They're not. You need to go get a decent pair. I'm talking if you're in the terrain I am. Now, if you're on, you're a security guard, you're walking on flat concrete, I don't know, wherever, the mall, these boots will be fine. I mean, they're an urban boot. Maybe even a little bit of desert terrain, but you start getting rocky, start carrying loads. There you go. Noodle City, man. Noodle City. That's UnderArmour Speed Freaks. I'm still going to wear them. They're bought at this point. I'll go and wear them out. And running and gunning, they're okay. They're okay. But when I put loads on, At home they stay. That's the Nutnfancy review.